Could the Vikings be on the cusp of a blockbuster trade? All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus and Chatter. It's getting hotter and hotter. Everywhere you see out there, the Vikings, they could be a team. They're going to trade up into the top three, get their quarterback. So we're going to talk about them trading up. We're going to look at some previous trades that it took to get up there, and if we think it'll actually happen and what it would cost.
If you want to trade up in the status of your life, then subscribe to the channel right now. Click the button, like, and comment as well. We are very, very close to 11,000 subscribers.
Yeah, we want to get to 12K before draft. So damn bad. Hit the sub button. We're going to be doing some wonderful giveaways as well coming up, but you have to be a subscriber.
Have to.
Hit that sub.
Hell yeah. T-Bone. I think was it T-Bone just won the beautiful Klein Saucer print last night on our live show because he is not just a subscriber, he's a member.
Absolutely, he is a member. Yeah, he won something beautiful. We're going to be doing a signed jersey too. But let's get into this. Vikings sitting at pick 11. Got to go all the way up into the top three. We know that there's three top quarterbacks. Before we do that, quick trivia question. Put your comments in, or put your answer in the comments. The last time the Vikings had a top three pick, who did they take?
Why is my dad in the picture?
No, your dad's much more handsome than that, much better looking than that. So who was the last time? I didn't realize how very few and far between we've had top three picks. So put what you think it is in the comments.
It's because we're fucking awesome. An awesome team.
Yes, we are an awesome team. So getting up 11 into the top three. Let's look at the past, what it's taken, and it's taken a lot. Let's start with 2016. Jared Goff. The Rams had to have him. They went from 15 to 1. They gave 2 first rounders, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and the Rams also got a 4th and a 6th back.
Yeah, that was insane. Jared Goff. It was the Jared Goff, I believe, Carson Wentz debate that year, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure was.
Rams went up and got Goff, and yeah, that's a very steep price to pay. And then the real kicker is what 2 years later they trade him over to Detroit for, they got decent compensation back. So yeah, I mean it's crazy, but that's an insane price right there. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds.
Yeah, but you're going from 15 all the way to pick 1.
It's a bigger jump.
1. That's a big ass gap.
Who held the first pick at that point? Was it the Eagles?
I can't remember who they traded with.
Okay, because that definitely factors into this year.
No, I think it was the Titans, maybe.
Yeah, it was the Titans.
I might have made that up. But anyways, going from 15 to 1, that's a much bigger gap than we're looking at. But they gave up the house. Speaking of giving up the house, this is a much better comparison. 2021, because the Niners went from 12 to 3. So realistically, we're not going to trade with the Bears. We're not going to go to 1. So we're looking at pick 2 or 3. So this is a really comparable, but they gave up way too much. They're like laughed at right now. 3 first rounders and a 3rd rounder.
And what they do, they flopped Trey Lance for a 4th round pick, I believe, to the Cowboys. It ended up working out for them in some weird back ass way because they went with Brock Purdy, and now they're in an NFC title game for the 8th year in a row. But yeah, 3 first round picks, move up and get Trey Lance, an insane amount. And then you look actually what the Dolphins got in return was crazy in the players they got with those picks. So yeah, that's pretty damn close to the Vikings are going to have to do this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the thing is why this is so comparable. In 2021, there was 3 quarterbacks. And they had to get in the top 3. It was Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, and Trey Lance. So and that drives up the price 100%.
Hell yes. What's the last one you got there?
We got the Panthers last year. 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, and DJ Moore. And all 3 of these trades were done early. They were done in like March.
Yeah, I feel like that the one with the Bears and the Panthers was done like in January last year. Yeah, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore. The Vikings don't really have anybody the caliber of DJ Moore. They can throw in a deal to sweeten the pot, which kind of sucks, kind of limits them a little bit here. But yeah, and then you look what the Panthers gave up to get that, and look at where they are now. It's just so damn sad.
Well, yeah. Whether they work out or not, it's all about the compensation. This is what it takes to get up there. So Vikings going from 11 to, let's say, 2 or 3. Washington, Patriots, it's easy to say, well, they need a quarterback, so they're not going to trade. but they need a lot more. They need a bunch of picks. So I think they would be all for trading out of there if we gave them a haul.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where I struggle with this, and I think the compensation is going to be driven up more than normal because these teams all are rebuilding. The Bears, I'm throwing them out of the equation. They're not going to trade the Vikings. There's no way you give the Vikings a chance to get a player like Caleb Williams, not in a division rival. That's not happening. So Patriots, Commanders both need to rebuild. They both, what do you need to rebuild? You need a quarterback, and they're sitting there, perfect opportunity to take one. So I think it's going to drive the price way up, even higher than normal.
Yeah, we've seen it so many times where someone just takes a quarterback before they have anybody else in place and they just suck. It doesn't work. I think whether it's the Vikings or somebody else, Washington or New England's going to trade out of there and they're going to get a haul. But let's go to that trivia answer quick before we have our predictions, what it would take to get up there, but got a guess?
Well, I know the answer to the trivia.
Oh,
and I believe we actually took him at pick 4, not 3. We traded down. We snuck the Trent Richardson trade with the Browns, got an extra pick, and we took him at Khalil.
Matt Khalil went 4.
Yeah, wasn't that the question?
No, who was in
we
the
held
top 3?
Well, we held the top 3 pick. We traded back.
He wasn't taking it.
I thought that was your question.
No. Ron Erie. All the way back to 1968. Lupagus was so confident.
Well, I thought it was just when we had a top 3 pick.
Last player drafted in the top 3. Ron Erie, 19th. Dolman was 4. Khalil was 4. Mason was 1, but that was after that. But anyways, let's get to the Vikings. First off, you think it's going to happen?
I don't think those teams are going to move out. And if they do, it's going to cost an arm and a fucking leg for the Vikings. Well, let's just go back. Last year, they tried with Anthony Richardson. Colts didn't. They said, no, we want the quarterback. They stayed, and they took the quarterback. I know Ben Gosling's got something going around saying the Vikings are going into this draft preparing like they can move up and get their guy. And it sounds like they're willing to give up whatever. So I think anything is on the table.
I don't think Kirk's coming back. Ask me tomorrow. I'll think he's coming back. But today, I don't think he's coming back. I think the GM, I think the coach are going to be in a little bit of panic mode. You've heard it before where if they bring in a new quarterback, maybe they get a little extra time, whatever. I think they're going to, I mean, I wouldn't say it's above 50%, but I think they're definitely in the conversation to do it, and it will cost a lot.
Yeah, you got to convince one of those other teams to pass on a quarterback, and you got to do that with a sweet-ass pot that you have to offer. Or maybe you hope that they don't like one of these guys. That's the other thing, but they're obviously going to say that they do because they're going to drive that price up. So it's got to be something that makes them potentially want to pass on a franchise caliber quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, there's good quarterbacks next. I'm not feeling that. I think they want picks. I think they want a ton of them. The thing is with this though, with 3 quarterbacks to get in the top 3, this is a trade that could be done well before the draft is even here. So if they're set on like 2 guys or whatever, and whoever they get is great, this could be another March trade.
It could be. And you know what?
Let's guess the prediction, or let's guess the compensation.
Yeah, you want me to go first? You want to go first?
I'll go first. I think it would take a 1st and 2nd this year, 1st and 3rd next year, and then a 4th.
So you're giving pick 11. Yeah, okay.
I think this would get them to like pick 3. I think this would be the least amount they could get for the worst pick. So pick 3.
That's actually not that bad. Mine is much more steep because I just think it's going to take more to make one of those teams pass on a quarterback. So I think it's going to up it even more than normal. I actually based mine last year on the Cardinals and the Texans trade. Texans went from 12 back to 2 to get, or actually it was up to 3 to get Will Anderson. And in that trade, let's see, they got a 1st rounder, number 33, which is an early 2nd round pick, 1st round pick, and then following year in the 3rd round pick. So I did that, but I sweetened a little bit. I don't know if you can be able to read this, but number 11, 2nd rounder this year, 4th this year, 1st and 25, and a 1st and a 3rd and 26. I think that's what it's going to take.
Nobody can read that.
Well, that's fine. I wasn't prepared to write it down, but there it is. I think it's got to be an extra 1st rounder in there somewhere.
So 3 firsts?
I think it's going to take at least that, and then a 2nd and a 3rd.
I think that maybe that's what their asking price would be. I think the Vikings would be out. I don't think there's going to be any more of those Trey Lance trades. The 3 first rounders and change. I think that thing's dead. I think they'll use that like no way in hell. And maybe that's their asking price, and we just don't do it. I hope it's not that.
No, but I seriously, I think when these teams needing quarterbacks, they're going to ask for the world. And if they don't get it, fine, they'll just take a quarterback. So why wouldn't they rebut with that? And maybe that's something that causes this to actually happen on draft day, where the Vikings do get desperate enough to agree with that, just like Sonny Weaver Jr. did.
Sonny Weaver Jr. Just remember that top 3, there could be teams trading up to get Marvin Harrison as well. They might not have quarterback on their mind because Marvin Harrison at 4 for the Cardinals could be his floor. So they could be trading out to get him too with the quarterback moving down.
Yeah, and you know what? One of these guys, there's a lot to happen between now and the draft. Maybe they have a shitty workout. Maybe they get hurt. Something happens where their stock isn't top 3 anymore, and they start to slide a little bit, and Vikings don't have to give up as much. So a lot of things to unravel here, but right now I think it's going to cost a shit ton to get.
It will cost a shit ton. There's no doubt about it. I kind of hope we do it. I want to get a quarterback. I want Jaden Daniels at 3, just assuming he's the last of the best. But let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. What do you think the compensation would be, and do you want him to do it?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit, know a little bit about diarrhea here. Acute diarrhea is a common problem that typically lasts 1 or 2 days and goes away on its own, but persistent diarrhea lasts longer. We're talking 2 to 4 weeks.
Oh, God.